So how are we gonna call it?
Okay, so let's call it Archichat.
Nah. The first project. What do you have?
What's your general?
No, it's great. The whole thing is great, and it's so photogenic, picturesque, everything. But I think that the whole buzz is more about what's happening on social media, about the rights for the images, about whoever owns the vessel. They also the building. They also own the rights for all the pictures taken while someone's taking a picture there. They go in the right direction. What they're doing is, can you imagine the software recognition right now, the visual recognition? You can recognize the minute detail of the face. You obviously can recognize the whole building. Now, what's happening here? You're taking a picture of yourself next to the vessel. Instagram recognizes this is vessel.
Yes.
And what's happening in the future? It recognizes it's a vessel behind you.
Yeah.
And it offers you, well, you don't have the right for this. How about we charge you 50 pence for this selfie? It's a public... Yeah. It's a public space, apparently.
It's a public space. Because that's the case about Paris. As far as I know, the images of Tower of Eiffel have been copyrighted, so you can't take them at night time or at daytime. I don't know, something about that. So there is a certain pictures of Eiffel Tower that you can't take either from day or night. It kind of makes sense in a bigger perspective, but then
well, they need to start going somewhere. They're just, preparing, feathering the nest for that to happen. That's happening. That's where it's going.
They are heathering.
They're heathering the nest.
Heathering the nest.
I think that's the way it should be. I think people should be charged for social validation.
Directly.
Just if you want to show off in front of your friends that you went to New York to take a picture of that thing on yourself.
In a larger scale, that's
fine.
We all do. I mean, we go to holidays to take nice pictures.
That's right. That's exactly the thing. People take trips to have an Instagram picture themselves.
I mean, how do you find it as a vessel? I mean,
I don't know.
It's essentially a structure made with a bunch of staircases.
No, I think it's a good idea. I mean, one thing I really like, how the guy in the wheelchair is going to go up the stairs. Big man will carry the person in the wheelchair upstairs to see the river. There's a lift there, you can go all the way up, but then again, the process of walking in an unpredictable pattern, I think that's got some legs to it. I like it.
These massive sculptures in the middle of public space with some fragments of, with some utilitarian fragments, like staircases or podiums, columns, whatever, and we just call them spaces for social gathering. It's almost automatically implied that people just would go there and they just would gather and just do whatever. But I mean, essentially, I think it's quite dead. Do you know what I mean? It's
no. I mean, you have to see what's happening on Instagram. It's not dead. It's have millions of pictures already under the hashtag.
I think that's like a fast fashion of Instagram. This thing is new, this thing is shiny, this thing is in huts and yards. It seems a lot like it's an amazing temporary structure.
That's an expo pavilion, isn't it? It's it's a pavilion. It's another thing. And again, Hedwig is known to be a pavilion architect, so yeah, why not?
So this building is by Koichi Takada, architects in
called
Sydney,
Arc.
And it's called Arc. So I really wanted to find out whether this bricked arch is actually a bricked arch, like a bricked Roman arch, or whether it's just a hollow facade.
This is a precast. I mean, it makes sense for it to be. I don't see how people would be just on site laying it out. I mean, it shouldn't be like that. I mean, why would we just still build the same way, brick by brick by brick on site, taking decades to complete the building? Everything should be prefabricated and precast, I think.
We get to a point where we don't have architecture made on site, architecture built on site. I think we're coming to a point where we're going to get literally units, all of them shipped.
And I mean, that's the way forward. And there's no other way to solve any housing crisis we have right now. And there shouldn't be a site architecture. I don't think so. Talking about the arches, it's a project by a Russian architect. I forgot the name, so it will be somewhere at the bottom over there. So there you go, arches. And It's a precast concrete. You can see that it's precast concrete. It's designed from day one to be precast concrete.
There is a little bit of an arch
I know.
fetish.
I know. There's it's going. It's happening.
Yeah.
And it's one is in Sydney, another one's in Moscow, and there's one in Manchester that is being proposed right now, and it's called Mancunian Tower. And I like the renders. These renders are just great, and I think that you see these arches. They're everywhere now.
I mean, there's a lot of...
It's a bit postmodern, I know.
To be said about all of this, and especially this one. Very classical element, such an arch, especially like a curved, like Roman arch. It's quite timeless, but at the same time, I think it takes away a lot from the context. So it doesn't really matter where it could be placed. You know, it's no longer a site-specific thing. You know, so it's not longer Roman, it's not longer Italian, it's not longer Palazzo.
No, it's a postmodern thing. It's purely it's an embellishment.
Yeah, it is.
It's just a feature. It doesn't do anything. It's not structural. None of these things are structural.
It's more and more about facade, where it's less about the space and more about...
It's all good as long as it looks good on Instagram. So the last project is the Under.
It's the Under.
The Under. Okay, how do you pronounce the name of these architects?
Snoeta.
Snoeta.
Shoreta. Snoeta.
Something Norwegian. Instagram exploded. It just looks amazing in the pictures.
Do you know what it looks like? It looks like a mermaid paradise.
The light works when there's no light inside.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of light outside.
But obviously,
but in Norway, during winter,
yeah, it's gonna be.
A light can be a problem. The day is like 6 hours long. I found the pictures of how they build it. They put that thing onto the barge somewhere outside. They actually prefabricated the whole thing.
So it's
like that
massive precast unit.
Yeah, it's a precast offsite construction. They build it like, just in drop. They build it on barge. They put a scaffold on barge. They pour the concrete, and they have brought it to the place and submerged it under the water with the glass already installed.
They just dropped it in.
Yeah, and you're sitting there with your Norwegian date, eating some shark fins. The shark swims by. What do you do with the glass, Mr. Facade Engineer?
You put some flex tape. You probably pull it up.
Exactly. If you break the glass, you have to take it out, replace the glass, put it back in there.
I'm not sure how big it is because it looks like there are just 5 tables. I'm not sure how, from a commercial standpoint, this restaurant is going to pay itself off.
Oh no, I can imagine the meal cost there would be astronomical. At some point, it's like one of the things goes on your bucket list if you're an architect.
Yes, but make sure to get some flex tape. Very good.
We're gonna finish with a little bit of footage of Thomas Hedderwick looking at some models of the vessel he has never seen before.